This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries, where we're your hosts. I'm Grace.
And I'm Alexis.
And we're back for a final episode, for now, of Moville Mysteries. An incredible, spooky arc. Lots of psychological torture, as you guys know. A show that I demand we come back to.
Absolutely.
Forewarning for the episode. I will submit to those
demands.
Yes, excellent. Forewarning for this episode. 1, who knows what spooky shit we're going to get into. I don't know.
Yeah.
2, speaking of spooky times, Alexis and I are doing another night recording, which, as I was just telling her, one of the times we recently did one, I forgot the name of the show we were doing. So anything happens when we don't record in the morning.
And, now that you mention it, I think one of the episodes, I think this was at night, I was calling Milo, I think I caught in a recent episode. That was a night episode, probably.
We don't do well.
We don't after like 6 p.m. We're really even earlier than that, quite frankly, which is crazy because I would
say we're also like not morning people, but we're sharp in the morning at least.
Yeah, we are. We're more fresh. We haven't just gone through a day of work and other stuff, We haven't just eaten like 2 meals or whatever throughout the day that now have us feeling all tired and full. But
so forewarning.
We get through. Yeah, exactly. Forewarning, there could be a lot of inaccuracies in this episode, either about just whatever pop culture happens to come up and or the episode itself, Moville Mysteries. I don't know.
I won't know. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, true. So all I have to do is speak confidently and you guys will believe whatever I say on this podcast.
I usually do. And in life.
Oh gosh. And hey, you know what? I think it's gotten us to a pretty good place in life too.
So we haven't died yet.
I'll take that as a compliment. Exactly. I'm knocking on all the wood. So
yes, exactly. Great. We'll take it away.
Thank you. Yes, I will take it away for our final for now episode of Moville Mysteries. We are very sad to say goodbye for now, but I figured it's going to be the last episode. Might as well go out with quite a bang, quite a confusing tale, especially when told through the medium of a podcast like ours, like through a recap. Because today's episode, we'll just say what it's called. It's season 2, episode 10, and it's called A Hitch in Time. So that is based off of the book and the movies A Wrinkle in Time, which I've never seen or read actually any of. So can't really tell you, but I know that just like this episode, it has to do something with time travel.
Mm-hmm.
So the episode
and perhaps
begins,
a character named Hitch.
And someone named Hitch and something about N. Maybe
Hitch is in something, maybe
in something in time, maybe.
Perhaps
we'll soon find out.
Okay,
mayhaps. Yes. So the episode begins with Mimi and Mo doing what they tend to always be doing, or at least what Mimi says that they always do, and that is waiting for Hitch because he is running late, as per usual. And in this case, he's running late to a handball game that the trio has planned to play. I honestly can't tell where this location is where they're playing it. It looks like, kind of just looks like an alleyway, quite frankly, but like a kind of sketchy one, but it may just be behind their school, possibly. So we'll just say it's behind their school because I don't want to imagine them I don't want to imagine them like alley kids just in the city in Ouija Falls.
Honestly, I love that more. I'm going to imagine it like that.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Maybe in hindsight, it is more on brand for this trio.
Yeah.
So, Hitch, he's running late here. And Mimi is most annoyed about this tardiness. So when Hitch finally arrives to this alleyway, Mimi just lays into him. She pretty much is just, absconding him or I don't know, is absconding the right word? I don't think that's the right word.
That was so fancy.
I said it with confidence.
You did. You shouldn't have
And
cut
it's
yourself off.
I shouldn't have, but man, yeah, no, I'm a woman of morals and principles, Grace. If I make a mistake, I've got to own up to it. No, yeah, I don't think absconding's the right word at all, but whatever. She lays into him. She's, telling him that he needs to get his shit together essentially and start being on time for things that he says he's going to be on time to. And, apparently this is habitual for him. And she's had the last straw at this point. I guess she really wants to get this game of handball started. So Hitch, he's just brushing her off and, kind of ignoring her anger at him. And then he just starts laying out the rules of the game that they're about to play while bragging about how he's going to totally win today and essentially whoop Mimi and Mo's asses. And Mimi, though, at this point, it's like, dude, I beat you the last 14 games. Like, you wish that you would be able to beat me, which I mean, yeah, at this point, Hitch just give up. I mean, you might as well just like sit and watch Mo and Mimi play.
You should have just not shown up at all.
Yeah, right. I'm sick. I can't come. But Hitch, we know him. He's a showboater. He talks a lot. And so he can't help himself but try to show off and display his handball skills to Mimi and Mo. And, he does this really big over the top, over dramatic serve. So have you played handball before, by the way?
Literally, no. I was like,
No.
I feel like when I hear the
Like,
word
what is this?
handball, I'm like, this is literally like a fictional game that they play in like Newsies.
Sports ball. Oh, wow.
That and stickball.
This makes me, you describing it as a Newsies game makes me look at my childhood quite differently now.
But I mean, you basically were Christian Bale in Newsies as a kid. Were you not?
Wearing the nice like bowler cap or whatever.
Tap dancing.
Singing everywhere I went, just couldn't help it. Being mad at the man, wouldn't let
But
me
also-
sell my papers wherever I wanted.
But you also know that if it's a hand-eye coordination demanding thing, I'm out. I'm sure I'm like now having like flashbacks to like childhood people being like, come on, Grace, let's go play handball. And me just ignoring them walking right by.
Yeah, I feel like you couldn't hear them. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, those things don't go together for me. So I don't know what it is now.
Well, and now that, oh man, I hope I'm not getting it mixed up with wall ball because we played a lot of wall ball too in
wall
grade
ball,
school.
I'm like, I've definitely seen that one happening on
Yeah.
the playground.
I feel like it's the same thing where, and actually it is based on how they're playing it in this episode, where you just have like a bouncy ball that's maybe like this little bigger than a baseball, a little smaller than a softball. Yeah, toss it on the wall. Another person has to bat it back. It's like tennis, but like you're too poor to afford rackets and a net.
As you played out like your nice Catholic private grade school.
Dude, we didn't even have a gym. We played it in a big open hall. Yeah, I don't even know what our tuition was going to in hindsight. Yeah, St. Gabriel's. Anyway,
okay, yeah, I do then know what it is.
Yeah, so that's what they're playing. It's like wall ball / handball. Maybe the Canadians called it handball or something
okay. We'll go
back
with
in the
that.
day. Yeah, that's what we'll say. So yeah, Hitch, he does this over the top, very over dramatic serve to start the game off. And at this point, it's him versus Mimi. Mo is just kind of standing to the side watching. But as soon as the ball bounces off the wall, it just flies directly back into Hitch's face and like knocks him out and makes him fall, like he falls back first onto the ground.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And so it looks pretty painful. I think he's complaining that he feels like he broke something in the fall. Okay. And so Mo and Mimi go up to help him. And they notice that, well, they're like, yeah, maybe you broke a bone. But what we notice is that you also broke this wristwatch that you have on. And Hitch looks down and sees that, yes, his watch is broken. And he kind of like bashfully or like nervously tells Mo that like, actually, Mo, this is your watch. Because you let me borrow it a few months ago, ...
Oh, no.
Yeah, what an asshole.
Damn, Hitch. This checks, though. Okay.
Yeah, it does for Hitch's personality. True. Yep. Who knows who those 3D glasses belong to?
That kid's long gone.
They're way gone. Probably that one kid who, got stuck in the locker in your one episode.
Exactly.
Yeah. So before Mo can yell at Hitch or be angry with him or call him out for breaking his watch, Hitch tells him, like, hold on, like, don't say anything, don't get mad. I'll go and I'll get you a new one, like right now. I'll do it right now. I'll take care of it. Don't
Okay.
worry. I'll replace this one. And Mimi's like, what? Like, with what money? You don't have money to replace this watch that you are responsible for breaking. And Hitch
Yeah.
says, oh, don't worry. I know exactly where to go to get a good deal and to find something really nice for him. And at this
Okay.
point, I'm like, good God, Hitch, please don't tell me you're about to go rob someone. Like,
I was gonna say this is fitting more and more that they are just in an alley in the city.
yes, these are alley kids. They're like, where can I find a free watch from somebody around
I
here?
go steal it from
Snapping
these
out of the
kids.
alley. Yeah. It turns into a Gangs of New York thing where it's just like the handball kids versus the newspaper kids. Stealing watches
Perfect.
from the
I'll play
local
in the game
the
of
local
handball,
yuppies.
see?
Yeah. Well, I'll try to deliver more newspapers than you see. We'll see who wins.
Perfection.
So, yes, I would watch this movie in a heartbeat. So Hitch, he thankfully he's not, going to submit himself to theft or robbery, anything
Good.
like that. He instead just makes his way to the local shopping mall and goes straight to, apparently there's like a room near the security area that is just a storage room for all of the lost and found items
Oh,
at the
okay.
mall. And so Hitch, he goes up to the security guard who's on guard in front of it, aka
Okay.
taking a nap in the chair outside of
Hmm.
it. And he just says, hey, Mr. Officer, dude, I lost my something here yesterday. And the dude just like points him in the direction, like, yeah, go on and
It
whatever, I
was
don't
pretty
care.
smart.
For it is actually, and it had me wondering, like, well, too bad malls are pretty much obsolete today,
Yeah.
but do they
You could go
have
to
these? Because
like
if so, I could use some new shit.
you could like go to an amusement park, surely. People drop shit from
Ooh,
like
good
roller
idea.
coasters all the time.
Yeah, true. This is
Like
true.
the 1,000 museums that you live near, they definitely have a lost and
Yeah,
found.
actually, that's a very good point. I was
Oh,
just
there's
at some too.
tourists
Man,
dropping shit left and right.
exactly. Don't be surprised if you get a random gift from me sometime soon.
When you record
Like
next time, you've got
it's
like
like an
12 watches on your
umbrella.
arm. Hello, everyone.
You like hear them all clicking differently.
They all have a bunch of alarms that you don't know how to set or turn
Yeah.
off because they're not your watch.
They're like
Just
from different
going off.
countries and shit. Yeah. It's like totally different time zones. Yeah. Yeah. Don't be surprised, gang. Hey, that would be a plug to watch our YouTube video or YouTube
Yeah, find
channel.
out next
So find
time.
out, will this be me in the next week or a few weeks from now? I don't
You'll
know.
see.
Subscribe to our YouTube to see. So Hitch, he goes into the storage room and he starts rummaging through a bunch of boxes of found items that are just all over the place. And he's just tossing out all sorts of, honestly, some like ancient and very expensive collector looking items.
Okay.
Like there's like a moose head like that a hunter would have, and I feel like there's like a dinosaur skull. I don't know. Ouija Falls, man.
Ouija
Honestly, in
Falls.
Ouija Falls, actually, these things are probably like worthless. Like everybody
Yeah,
has
it's run
these
of the mill.
things. True.
Exactly.
You might leave your dinosaur skull on the jewelry counter of the department store or something if
Exactly.
you're
You'll get
shopping
another
at the Ouija
one.
Falls Mall. Exactly. You'll come
Dime a
across it. It's
dozen.
fine. Exactly. So after he tosses all of this totally boring stuff to the side, he finds actually an antique, very old and, kind of classy though looking wristwatch that he thinks, and I agree, would fit perfectly on Mo's wrist and with Mo's aesthetic and his overall
Oh,
vibe. So Hitch,
okay.
he takes a look at it and he's like, oh my God, Mo would love this. It's a little old, a little beaten, but it's got charm, etc. And so he puts the watch on his wrist to get a better look at it, but notices that the time on it is running a little fast. So he stops, he looks up at the clock in the storage room and looks down at the watch, and he
Hmm.
turns the time back before departing the storage room and making his way back to Mimi and Mo.
Okay.
But just after he turns back the time on his watch, something strange happens. Time itself also turns back. So we just
Okay.
see a massive flash of light consume Hitch and like the entire screen.
Oh
And
no.
then when the light goes away, we just see Hitch back in this alley or wherever we're imagining they're
Oh,
playing
okay.
handball, standing right in front of Mo and Mimi, explaining the rules of the handball game that they are about to start playing. While
Okay, wait.
Mimi is saying you
Question.
need to stop running late. Yeah, go ahead.
Is we just see that same scene, or do we see a Hitch watching that scene?
We see that same scene. So we
Okay, so
see
there's not like
Hitch
an extra
actually going
Hitch.
back there. Exactly. It's not,
Okay.
and this perfect point to say that. So what we're seeing now is that this obviously, and because I mentioned it earlier, this episode has to do with time travel. And obviously, time travel has been captured so many different ways, or depicted, I should
Yes.
say, so many different ways in media. And we obviously, nobody actually knows the key to time travel. People fall in different camps, right? Of like the Back to the Future model,
Yeah.
where, you transport yourself out of the current
Yes,
timeline
and
and put
into it.
yourself back. So, yeah, you're totally gone. There's the other one where or there's like the Marvel slash like Infinity War thing where there's
Uh-huh.
like different time streams. And if you like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
There's
Everyone has something
endless.
different. Exactly. There's
Yes.
the interstellar type. What everything is
Right.
different. Is time a circle? Is it a line? Is it, who knows? Nobody knows. But in this case, yeah, they're taking the model of just like Hitch has, we'll see two different types of time travel in this
Okay.
episode. Let me say that. In this case, right here, Hitch has the ability to make everything in the universe either go backwards
Rewind.
or forwards. So it's
Okay.
not like he's just plucking himself out of a timeline and into a
Cool.
different one. He's just controlling the
Okay.
literal clock of
Cool.
existence.
And he
So,
remembers that he was just at the mall.
no, not
Oh,
quite
okay.
exactly.
Okay.
So it's exactly. So he doesn't remember
It was
that.
the rules of
But
time travel are important to establish up
yes,
front. So
exactly.
this
So
is
that's what I
helpful.
was
Great.
yes. So I actually put like a break in my script here because I was like, we're gonna need to like talk about this for a second
Yeah.
before we
Give
go
me the
forward.
logistics. This is
So yes.
also like the
Mhm.
most questions I've ever asked about, like, or like most intense wondering I've had about any of our episodes ever. I'm like, so tell me more about
How
this
does
time
this
travel
work?
scenario.
Yes. Yes. And so what we will soon see too is that while Hitch can control just the actual clock of existence, so to
Yeah.
speak, he can also carry things with him through time. So you just
Okay.
asked,
Ooh,
like,
that's a
so you just
cool.
asked, does he remember going to the mall? Not quite. We'll get to that in a second, put a pin in
Okay.
that. But he's wearing the watch that he just got from the
Okay.
mall when he gets back to the alley. Yeah, or
Oh,
when he goes back in time to
interesting.
the alley.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
So, yeah, he's back in the alley and they're going through, he's listing all these rules to the game, just as he did at the very beginning of the episode. And Mimi is
Mhm.
saying the exact same thing she told him about, you're late, you got to stop being late, be more responsible, etc. And so while Mimi is telling Hitch to, hurry up and serve the ball, she doesn't have all day to wait for him. Mo, he like kind of is looking around, obviously, our very inept, or not inept, but I can't speak. Again, it's late. I was going to say our inept Mo when I was trying to say our
Adept?
intelligent Mo, or adept. Maybe I was trying to say
I
adept,
think you're trying to
but
say
my mind
that.
wanted to say intelligent. He's
Intelligence?
definitely not inept.
The
That's for sure.
opposite.
Quite the opposite. So Mo, our intelligent narrator, he senses a disturbance in the
Mm,
space-time continuum, so to speak, because
yes.
he's noticing like this feels familiar. Everything that Hitch and Mimi are
Ooh.
saying to each other, I've felt this before. And so he stops the gang and he's like, whoa, 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 I just had some massive deja vu. Something is off. Something doesn't feel right. And so he tells them that he feels like they've done this before. And
Ooh.
hilariously, Mimi's like, yeah, remember I've beaten Hitch 14 times now. Yes, this is our 15th time going
Yes,
through
and he's
this.
late also the last 14 times and
Literally every
today.
day. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're alley kids. We're always playing handball in this
It's
alley.
all we
This
do.
is what we do. Yeah. So Hitch, he just waves Mo off and he's like, yeah, you're going crazy. Like you're weird, whatever. Or,
Yeah.
he's like what we're saying. Like, yeah, it's a normal day for us. This is what we do.
Yeah.
But Mo at this point notices as Hitch is like waving his hand in Mo's face, he notices the wristwatch that Hitch
Mm.
has. And he's like, whoa, that's a cool watch. Where'd you get that? And Hitch is like, well, I swore that you lent it to me a couple
Oh,
months ago, right? Isn't it yours?
okay.
And Mo's like, nah, dude, I've never seen this watch before. It's nice, but I didn't give it to you.
Yeah.
And so Mimi, she leans in to also take a look at this mystery watch. And she tells Hitch, like, no wonder you're always running late. The watch is running slow. So Hitch is like, oh yeah, cool. Well, let's like sync our watches. So he asks her for the time. And then of course he turns the time forward,
Okay.
both figuratively and literally by
Okay.
changing the time on his watch. And so just like before, another flash of light appears, and we then see Hitch back at the mall in the lost and found storage room, rummaging through all of those boxes and finding the antique watch, putting it on his wrist
Okay.
before again noticing it's running slow, changing the time, or running fast, changing the time back, and then finding himself traveling back to the
Playing
alley
handball.
to the
Okay.
handball game with Mo and Mimi. So again, he goes right into explaining the rules of this game while Mimi and Mo are like cutting in and finishing his and each other's sentences. And at this
Oh,
point,
okay.
all three of them are like, wait, whoa. At worst, we're all experiencing the same like weird disturbances or weird
Uh-huh.
deja vu type thing all at the same exact time. Or at best, as a group of friends, we are just getting way too predictable and boring.
I was gonna
Which I
say,
think
at
Mimi
best,
says.
we're just
Yeah.
best friends.
Yeah. But we need to spice it up a little bit. This is getting
Yeah, it's been
weird.
14 times I've beaten you, Hitch. We need to
Yeah.
change it up.
It's getting boring. I'm getting bored of winning, Hitch. Okay.
Yeah. It's hard when you're the goat, at handball.
Right. At alley handball.
We're gonna let those newsy kids know.
Which also, it's like the way that they're playing this, it's like they're training for some tournament or something, but you only ever see the three of them playing. And like we've been introduced to a lot of other students at their high school. So you think like if this was a big thing, you'd see other kids. So yeah, I feel like they're overblowing this in their minds. Like this handball thing is the greatest thing to happen. It's really just the three of them because
It's
they
all
have
we
nothing else
got.
to do. Yeah.
Yeah, they're finally realizing like the reality that none of them would say out loud, which is like, oh, we're bored.
We're really bored and maybe we're boring. That's why no one wants to
Are
do
we
anything else
boring?
with us. Yeah.
Are we the problem?
It's probably actually that Mo is like really turning other people off with just like how creepy he can be or like how into weird shit he is.
Yes, absolutely.
Which actually, on that note, now's a good
Uh-oh.
time.
Oh no.
That was a perfect segue. So now that they realize that this is that something weird is happening, Mo decides to run a little test or like an experiment. And Mimi
Naturally.
looks at him and so naturally, he's like, I've got an idea. Let's test this hypothesis. To which Mimi asks, quote unquote, to directly from the show, this doesn't involve any more roadkill squirrels and a car battery, does it?
With Mo, it might.
It might. In this case, he says, no, I mean with the watch. But I was like, oh, wow, great. Mo has definitely tried to like resuscitate a
He's
dead like
Frankenstein.
squirrel or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more than
That's,
once likely.
yeah, I'm sure the other kids at school know about this too.
Oh
So
yeah.
this is why you guys always play alley handball by
Yeah.
yourselves.
Yeah, they're like, you know what, Mo? We're all pretty fucking weird. This is Ouija Falls, but that's just gross, man.
But that's another level, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that doesn't make you that much better than the weird mosquito vampire queen
Yeah,
son guy
exactly.
at that rate. Like
Mo,
it's
we're
like a
watching
half
your
step
villain story
below.
unfold, your origin story.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess what is the triad, the McDonald
Oh, yeah, the
triad that
McDonald
you
triad.
taught me
Yeah,
about?
we've
Yeah, I
got
guess in this
animal
case,
cruelty.
he was trying to
That's a
bring
big
the
one.
animal back from the dead, though, we can assume, right? So like,
Yeah,
is
he's
it was
fine.
PETA against Pet Cemetery? I wonder.
Oh,
Was PETA
absolutely, yes.
probably
What
they're
kind of
against
question was
everything.
that?
I know. Yeah.
Was PETA
It
against? The
answers the
answer is
question.
yes.
Yes. So anyway, yeah, Mo, he apparently has done some fucked up shit, as if that's a surprise to us.
Nope.
But in this case, the experiment slash test that he wants to run has to do with the watch, not anything gross and Frankensteinish.
Mm.
So Mo tells Hitch to set his wristwatch back about 10 seconds to see what happens. And Hitch does this. And of course, they all shoot back 10 seconds in time. And it's to the point where Mo is saying, no, I'm talking about the watch. And he says again,
Oh,
Hitch, set your clock back or your watch back 10 seconds and let's see what happens. And so Hitch does it again. And then Mo says all of that stuff again. And
yeah.
then Hitch does it one more time. And then on the third time, Mo stays silent until Hitch immediately lifts up his wrist and says, got it, and
Oh,
starts to turn time back 10 seconds without Mo saying anything. And Mo stops him just in
okay.
time, like, see, this proves it. That watch, it's some sort of time machine. And like all three of
Cool.
them get super, like you, they
Yeah,
get
hell
super
yeah.
excited. They're like,
Also, like
fuck
Mo
yeah,
would be able to like remember
know how
things
to,
in, yeah, like crack the code of
yeah.
time travel, being like, I know how to hand like hold on to my memory and consciousness through the space-time continuum. No
Exactly.
problem.
Exactly. He's like, I have the mental fortitude to do such a
I
thing.
have
He is
electrocuted
basically
myself
Dr. Manhattan.
enough times on a car battery
Yeah. Do you know how
that
many
I
squirrels
know.
I've tried to resuscitate from the dead? This brain, it's not like it used to be.
String theory left and right, baby.
So yeah, they ask Hitch, as cool as this is, that he's got this thing and that these three kids are in the presence of, like, honestly, a world changing, a universe changing device. They're like, hey, Hitch, how the hell did you come across this? Like, where the hell did you find this thing?
Good question.
Uh, what are you doing with this? And although, yeah, so Hitch doesn't have the same mental fortitude as Mo does. So
Not
Hitch's
surprised.
brain is a little, not at all. His already fragile brain is a little scattered and scrambled from, like, now he's time traveled, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 times at this
Yep.
point of the
Yep.
episode.
It's not doing
So
great.
they, so he's just kind of like holding his head, like, but he does vaguely eventually remember getting it from the lost and found area at the
Mm.
mall. He's like, either in the past or I was either just there getting it or I'm
Oh
about to
God.
go there.
Hitch is gonna
He's
lose
not
it.
doing great.
He's not meant for
Exactly.
this. He's not built for this.
Remember, this episode is called A Hitch in Time. So we're definitely going to see. Remember how you mentioned that psychological torture that always happens
Oh
to kids
no,
in this
not on poor
show?
Hitch.
Yeah, Hitch is going to have a day. Let's just say
Oh
that.
no. Or maybe a few
Poor Hitch.
days,
A
depending
few
on how many
days.
times he goes back and forth.
We're not quite sure. Actually, many, several days, but
Oh
we'll
God,
get
yeah.
there soon. So Mo at this point, again, just one, knowing Hitch as he knows Hitch, and two, also seeing how his brain can't handle and this sort of
The
power, this
toll.
sort of a device, the toll that comes with this. Mo is like expressing some interest in finding the rightful owner of the time machine. And
Mhm.
Mimi is like, yeah, this could be really bad because Hitch, of all people, is the one in control of this. So we need to make sure we keep an eye on this and like try to like
Yeah.
rein it in, keep this close to home. And of course, Hitch immediately proves her point by, for literally just shits and giggles, for no
Oh
reason
no.
at all, he just decides to send the gang into the future. Just like, okay, here we go, guys, boom. And he just
Oh
sets time
no.
forward. Yep.
Okay. Does he have to grab them
This
to do it?
No, he doesn't, because remember, he can change everything. But so I will say the rules are a little fast and loose in
Aren't
this
they
because
always?
aren't they always? I mean, if you're standing by someone when time moves forward, then this episode makes it seem like no matter what time you move forward to, you're going to be standing
In the
by them
same spot.
again or something. That happens in some cases. Maybe it doesn't happen in every case, but whatever. In
Hitch
this
doesn't know how
case,
to
he
use
didn't
it
have to grab onto
anyways.
him. Exactly. So we
There
as
are
viewers are
rules and
never
Hitch
going to
just
get a full
doesn't do them
explanation.
correct.
Precisely, precisely. But yeah, in this case, he doesn't need to grab onto them or anything. They all just speed forward and wind up, I guess, wherever they would be at whatever time he set the clock to. So, so this also, I guess, in this episode, time is a circle because this assumes that it knows where you've already been and will
Yes,
repeat it
where you're
again.
going to
I
be.
get where
Yeah.
you're going. Yeah. So, anyways, here we are breaking down the theory of and cracking the code to time travel on Saturday Morning Mystery.
Not
This is
surprised.
not on
It's a
my bingo
mystery to all of
card.
us. This was actually the mystery of Saturday Morning Mysteries.
This is what inspired us to do this podcast. It only took us, I don't know, 120 episodes to get to this topic. But now that we're here, we're never turning
It's
back.
about life's mysteries, everyone.
Yes,
Universal
exactly.
mysteries.
Yes, which kind of like cryptids and all that stuff, which we're
I
no
mean,
strangers to over here.
exactly.
So the next day in Ouija Falls at Lone Pine High School, we see all of the teens and all of their classmates in math class suffering through a lecture. And while the entire class looks either just like bored or dead confused about whatever the hell the teacher is on about, Hitch, of course, looks most bored of all. And he kind of is like muttering to himself and decides that it's time to speed things up a bit, if you will.
It's not how you're going to learn
So,
that algebra equation.
put a pin in that.
Mm-mm.
So
I see a flaw
he,
already.
yeah, but it's Hitch. Hitch sees no flaws. He lives in the moment, maybe. He's
He
like, you
sure
know
does.
what?
He is the moment.
He is the moment. He stands up at his desk and he literally yells out loud. So I guess he doesn't even care about hiding this anymore. He's like, I'm Tommy Hitchcock, aka Time Lord, to the rescue. And he sets his watch forward to the end of class. But
Okay.
not just math class. He also sends time past geography class
Uh-oh.
and history class too. So this is now like a solid, maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours into the future that
Yeah.
he has sent them. And the gang now, our main trio, they immediately find themselves standing outside of the classrooms by their lockers. And Hitch is like, isn't this amazing? We can just fly through the rest of high school and graduate in no time. Like, this is going to be perfect with Hitch, which Hitch kind of seems, or sorry, which Mo kind of seems on board with. Like,
Mm.
yeah, that's actually a good idea. Not a bad idea. Kind of cool. I think he's just excited to be time traveling, honestly.
Yeah.
And Mimi, who is our voice of reason, obviously,
Yes.
she is like, well, unpinning what you said before, some of us want to go to college, and you're depriving us of a very important series of classes.
Yes.
And so at this point, Mo, he cuts in. I guess he's heard both arguments now. He's heard
Yeah.
both sides. And so
Yes.
he's
He's
like,
ready.
exactly. He's like, Hitch, maybe you should like be a little bit more responsible with this thing. Like this is pretty heavy duty shit that you've got here. Time
Yeah.
travel is a serious thing. And Hitch says, okay, of course, you can call me Mr. Responsible Time Lord from now on.
No.
So, the sound
I
in your
sure
voice
won't.
just
I
said
sure won't,
everything.
Hitch.
You can call me that from now on for the next 5 seconds.
Before
Oh,
I absolutely use this thing with no consequences. Great, let's go.
exactly. Awesome. Let's do it. Let's time travel. I mean, what? No, responsible.
Too
We'll
late.
do responsible time travel. Yes. So the gang, they start walking down the hallway at school and they're talking about a movie that they're all planning to see after class tonight at 7:15. And without a second thought, like no one says, oh man, I wish it was time to see it now, or oh man, I wish we were there now, or oh man, I wish school was over now. Just like at the mention of the time, 7:15, Hitch just reaches down for his watch, and before Mimi and Mo can stop him, he just sets the time forward to 7:15, or probably like 7:30,
Nope, I'd
because
be
we
so
then
mad.
see them in the I would be fucking pissed.
Yeah.
Because then
Like,
we
this is, you
see
have to have like
them.
consent for time travel. Hitch.
Yeah, that's such a good point. This is so non-consensual for everyone and everyone in the world. All of
Yeah,
us.
exactly.
This is so
Universal
unfair. And again,
violation, Hitch.
put a pin in that as well, too.
Okay.
Okay. Again, this will be another point that Mimi brings up later.
Yeah, I'll
She's
say
full of
I
great
am
points
Mimi
in
this
this.
episode.
That, yeah, same. And Mimi has really made me rethink a lot of my views on time travel, et cetera, et cetera. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay, cool, cool.
So yeah, Hitch sets them forward to like, I don't know, 7:30 probably. This movie starts at 7:15. And by the time that they zap forward, they're like in the movie, already eating their popcorn, drinking their soda. The movie
Damn.
has already started, et cetera. And it's funny, actually, the movie. So it looks like a C list. I don't know. This isn't really important to say, but I'm just going to say it because
Uh-huh.
no rules, right? It's our
Exactly. Why
podcast.
not?
But the movie that they're watching looks like a C list remake of the Planet of the Apes, like
Oh,
the 2001 version, which had Mark
okay.
Wahlberg and Helena Bonham Carter, which I also just realized
Oh,
was directed by Tim Burton,
of
which I'm
course it
like, oof,
was.
damn. Well, you can't get them all, you know?
You
You
know,
can't get them all because it's been a really long time since I saw that movie, but I definitely
yeah.
remember thinking it was less than good. So, but yeah, anyways.
Wow,
So you were going to say
iconic.
something.
No, of
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, if she's in it, of course he's directing it. And it's like I'm
Hmm.
now remembering that that movie exists.
Yeah. And Danny Elfman did the score. So I was
Well,
like,
obviously.
it has all the hallmarks of a Tim Burton movie. I might rewatch it,
Plus
maybe,
Mark
because who
Wahlberg.
knows? Yeah, but exactly. Like he was the
Yeah.
oddball out. Like one of these things is not like the other at
Yeah,
all.
exactly.
Like, what are you doing here, dude?
What's Marky Mark doing
So,
here?
yeah, I know. So, the gang, and maybe it is good that I said that because the gang, they're enjoying the movie at first, but it very
Uh-huh.
soon after gets very cheesy and
Mm.
cheap and like derivative. And so Mimi is like, God, this is awful. We should leave. So maybe it was loosely inspired by the
Yeah.
2001 remake of Planet of the Apes, directed by
Came
Tim
out like a
Burton,
year
who
before
we
this
love,
episode,
obviously,
probably.
but yeah, it was actually
A year or
well,
two.
yeah, something like that, a year or two. So
Yeah,
yeah, the writers of this
probably.
definitely saw that movie and were like, holy shit, this is
Say no more.
terrible.
Hold my
We've got
beer.
to make fun of this. Yeah,
Hold my maple
give me my
syrup.
pen. So the gang, they decide to leave. But of course, instead of using his legs like a normal person and just standing up and walking out, Hitch decides to set his watch back in time 30 or so minutes,
Oh.
and the gang finds itself standing outside of the theater before the movie starts. And hilariously, again, Mimi, full of amazing one-liners in this
Uh-huh.
episode, she says, I meant we could have just walked out. It makes a statement. So
We know
snaps
she
for
is a
our girl.
beautiful political organizer.
We love a
You
political
gotta know,
organizer. We love a
baby.
grassroots statement. We love it. Exactly. We vote with our dollars and our butts not being in seats. Okay. Make that statement. Yes.
Here for
But
Mimi, always.
I guess in a way, Hitch is also noting the importance of voting with your dollars here
Because he said we
because
didn't
he
waste our
says,
money.
exactly. He's like, my way is
Mm.
better because it comes with the money back guarantee. And he looks down and notices he's still holding his soda from being in there before. So
Oh, okay.
saying, and also a free soda. So not only is he
Uh-oh.
sticking it to the movie theater and the production studio, but he's also sticking it to like Big Sugar and, Big Soda. So Hitch actually in this case, I might give Hitch this point. I like Mimi, make a statement. It's cool, but this is like a triple statement.
But I
So
don't think he means it.
good job, Hitch.
It's
Yeah,
performative.
exactly. Exactly. It's all he's virtue signaling right now. He's not really down for the cause. He just,
No,
you
it's not the
know,
long term. It's just trending right now.
exactly. Exactly. It's just making him look good in the moment. It's a happenstance. good decision that he made.
Exactly. That's it.
So Hitch kind of like brushing off how lame Mimi and Mo are being about, not being able to make such a statement by leaving the movie. He decides to walk home on his own, and he's just bragging out loud about how cool his new time travel device is, how much power it gives him, and how he can like, I think he says stuff about he can win the lottery or do whatever he wants, get rich. And so he tries to slurp down the last few sips of his soda, and then he tosses the cup, or he tries to toss the cup into a nearby trash can, but misses. And instead of going in the trash can, the cup bounces right off of the lid and very unfortunately hits our resident bully, Gizzard, in the face.
All right, use that watch now, Hitch.
Glass bits. I know. Now it's going to come in handy.
Now it's a good use.
Now I do not mind you abusing the power of time travel.
To avoid getting your ass kicked.
Because Gizzard, exactly, is obviously infuriated. Yep. So he starts chasing down Hitch, trying to whoop his ass for getting him all sticky and messy and, Coke all over his face. Not the good kind of Coke either. So Hitch is able to outrun and hide from him eventually. And he decides, just to be extra safe, that, he'll set his watch forward to 10 p.m. because he figures that he'll be at home and safe and in bed by then.
Okay.
So time shoots forward, and the disturbance is, of course, felt by Mo and Mimi. And so that night, those two, they call each other, they talk on the phone, and they really start to express their concerns about Hitch's abuse of this immense power. And Mimi, again, and a bit of wisdom, says that we have to do something because this is our time too, and he's wasting it. And she's got a good point. She just lost 3 hours of her life. She'll never get back. And when you're that age, when you're like 15 or something, that's a solid chunk of it. So this non-consensual time travel is becoming quite dangerous and pretty detrimental to people everywhere, but especially, I guess, the people closest to Hitch that realize it's happening. I guess everyone else in Ouija Falls is probably just like, man, it's like Groundhog's Day.
They're like, whew, that radioactive waste fumes must be strong today. I just blacked out the last 3 hours.
Ooh, it's that windstorm that came in, man. It has just got us fucked up.
Ooh, that blustery day. Get those hazmat suits out,
Yeah. But even though Hitch has moved us forward about 3 hours, lest we forget about our dear Gizzard or believe that he would give up so easily, or that a mere time jump would lessen his anger. Because, Gizzard, he holds grudges and he can play the long game if he wants to. So that night, while Hitch is asleep.
Oh, no.
Gizzard fucking breaks into Hitch's house. In his room, even more specifically, he climbs a ladder into Hitch's room. It's raining outside. Gizzard's pouring wet. He's dripping.
That's so
scary. It gets scarier. He stands over Hitch in his bed, dripping water down onto him while Hitch is just tucked in asleep. And he wakes him up by yelling and I think shaking him by the collar.
Literally so many serial killers stories are exactly this.
The same fucking way. And you just I don't know, the parents are out for the night or the parents took a fucking melatonin and they're totally knocked out. They can't hear shit. Yeah. He is just straight up assaulting this kid in his bedroom at night after breaking in on a rainy night. Insane. And he's yelling to him too, saying I'm gonna kill you. You probably will. Done for. Yeah, and he will. Thank God. Again, though, Hitch has a time machine. Yeah, when someone like Gizzard says they're gonna kill you, believe it and report it.
Go to the authorities right now.
Gizzard is a 16-year-old boy with a tattoo of a bat on his forehead. Okay. If he tells you he's gonna kill you, please report it.
He's gonna kill you.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure the cops would believe you because of the first point we made that he has a tattoo of a bat on his face.
They'd be like, oh, Gizzard? Yeah, this checks.
Yeah, this checks. He's probably going to kill you, Hitch. We'll go him right now.
Yeah,
We will
yeah.
keep an eye on him. So, yeah, Hitch somehow manages to get out of the bed, get around Gizzard, maneuver around him out of the room, and actually is able to jump out of his bedroom window.
Oh my
He
God.
lives in a two-story house too. Pretty sure he's on the upstairs floor, but
Uh-huh.
whatever. It's okay because he also has the handy dandy
Mm.
time machine wristwatch. So he again sets the time forward to the morning when the gang is all walking to school.
They'd be like, and he wakes up in a hospital.
Yeah, I know, right? Which it did kind of just occur to me. I was like, he should still be like totally broken though at this
Yeah,
point.
he
That's
should have just
like,
rewound it and like
yeah,
locked his bedroom window
remembered
more.
exactly. Yeah, or like hid somewhere and
Yeah, slept in a different
made
room.
Izzard think that he wasn't at home or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
But again,
So
Hitch
yeah.
doesn't
He
he
doesn't
doesn't
know the
grasp the
rules of
gravity.
time travel
Yeah,
exactly. So the rules don't apply to him because he doesn't know the
exactly. He doesn't
rules.
know how would they
Yeah.
apply if you don't know them?
Yeah, you can't arrest me if I didn't know
Officer.
that this was robbery or whatever.
That's what Gizzard's
Officer.
saying when
Yeah,
the parents go into the room and find this child in their
exactly.
house.
What dead? Yeah. Or oh, I thought you meant like find Hitch dead and Gizzard like standing over him, like
That
I didn't
too.
know this was murder. What are you talking
I was
about?
like, oh, he
He spilled
fell.
Coke on me. I thought it was just justice. I don't know.
He he jumped out the window. I
Yeah,
didn't
I
push
didn't
him.
do that. He just did that on his own.
That's not
Truly.
illegal.
So Hitch, yeah, like I said, he sets the clock forward and it's now morning time. Yes, he should be broken, but he's not. He's walking to school with Mimi and Mo. And Mimi and Mo are full aware that the time jump has happened and they're
Yeah.
surprised because they're like, Hitch is rarely in a rush to get to school. So what is he
Mm.
doing setting us forward to the morning? And Hitch says something about like, it's such a beautiful gizzard-free day or something like that. And
Yeah,
Mo
because
is
he's
like,
arrested.
exactly. For break-in, attempted
Yeah,
murder,
assault.
robbery,
Yeah.
assault, exactly, all sorts of shit. So yeah, Mo was like, I see why you sent us forward. Got it.
Yep.
And Mimi cuts in and says, like, well, I was going to cram or at least try to cram for our chemistry test last night, but because of Hitch, there was no last night. So she's kind of freaking out, thinking
Uh-oh.
that she's about to not do well on this exam coming up today.
Yeah.
And Hitch very sassily responds, like, hey, if you can't stand the time travel, then you got to stay out of the kitchen or something along those lines.
Get out, Hitch.
And so, exactly, like, shut the fuck up, Hitch. I'm about to hit you onto that car and send you down the road.
Get your
So
battery, Mo.
because Hitch is about to be roadkill.
We're taking this to the next level. Wow,
Yeah.
also how full circle, because in my very first episode, Gizzard had said Hitch, as Hitch was dressed up as like his grandmother, that he was going to make
Yeah.
Hitch roadkill.
Oh my
Full circle.
God. Look at
Did we just time
us.
jump?
We did. We did. It's like it's whatever day we recorded that all over again. I was hoping it would
Wow.
come to me what day we recorded the first.
Why would
I have
we
no
ever
fucking
remember
clue.
that?
We wouldn't now. But you saw it here, everybody. You just saw it. Time travel
Happened.
live.
Looking at your eyes.
At least live as we're recording it, not live as you're watching or listening. But hey,
Exactly. Or is it?
all the more reasons again to check out our YouTube. You could watch the time travel. It's for
Seamless.
science. Exactly. You
We've
won't even be able to
perfected
tell
it.
that it happened. That's how great we've made it. So, yeah. So Mo and Mimi at this point, they're like, we talked about it last night. This is getting a little out of hand. Hitch, you're not taking this seriously. You're not being responsible with this thing. We need to start looking for the original owner of this time machine. You, Hitch, are clearly unable to treat such a powerful device with any sense of responsibility.
Correct.
So Hitch, who has obviously gotten a little too used to this power, this new power of his,
Oh no.
he calls his friends buzzkills. Yeah, it's again, we're coming full circle to the first episode where he got that jock strap. And
Oh,
once he
yep.
put
He
it on, he did
immediately
not want to
abused the
take it
power.
off.
Hitch
Exactly.
has an
So,
addiction
but hey,
problem.
he does. Such a good point.
Yeah.
we're going to need, I mean, they're trying to have the intervention now, but it's clearly not working. So something
You
a
need a
little more
couple.
serious is going to have to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But he calls his friends buzzkills and says that they were way more fun yesterday before they saw the movie and they were way more cool
Oh
about the time
no.
travel and all of that. So he reaches down for his watch and sets that shit back a whole day.
Damn, at this point,
Incidentally, mhm,
like just hit his hand, like break his wrist really quick, get that watch and smash it. Like what they just watch it happen. Just be like, Hitch,
yeah,
no.
yeah,
Like he has to get all the way to his watch. Hitch does not have that muscle memory. He's like staring at the time, being
no,
like,
yeah,
I bet it's like,
exactly.
is it like an analog watch? He's like, where the short hand versus the little hand.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it is analog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is taking, you
Hmm.
got at least 7 seconds.
15 seconds, maybe.
Yeah, to stop
Yeah,
this from
to like
happening.
jump in that shit. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're too slow this time. They do try to jump in, but he sets it
So,
back a whole day, incidentally and probably accidentally, back to the exact moment when he threw the cup at Gizzard.
which
So,
he should
really
have just
bad
done from the
timing.
start is like 5 seconds
Yeah.
before that, so he doesn't throw the cup at Gizzard.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, hey, this is Hitch, okay? There's no strategy to any of this, and he's just stupid.
That's why he
So,
lost that handball 14 times in a row. No strategy on this kid.
exactly. Because let's be honest, handball
But
doesn't take a lot of athleticism. You just have to like have eyes and hands,
it's just 3D
and I
glasses
guess
and
a
no
ball.
strategy. Just throwing
Yeah,
them up.
yeah. This he's playing 3D handball in a 4D world. It's not working for him. So
No.
Gizzard, as soon as obviously he again has a cup thrown in his face, he repeats his chase of Hitch. And of course, Hitch tries to use the watch to get away from him. But Gizzard is right on his tail, much closer than he was the first time that this happened in the past,
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I
The
mean?
original experience.
Thank you, yes. But this time Hitch decides to just he doesn't like just go back 5 or 10 seconds to right before he threw the cup. He like makes these drastic turns where he sends them back like to when they were infants, like in diapers,
Of
crawling around.
course.
Exactly right. So Gizzard is like chasing after Hitch in diapers or crawling around this room after one another.
Of
And then
course.
he changes the time again to the extreme future where they're like old men. You see Mimi and Mo also very old in the background. They're like, I guess all in the same retirement home or something like
It's
that.
a small
And you just
town.
see them like shuffling around with like
Oh
their walkers
God.
chasing after each other.
Uh-huh.
And then he takes them to the very, very past where they're literally embryos and one of their two mothers' wombs, I suppose, which is like weird.
Oh.
I know it's like just a funny thing that the writers are trying to do,
Yeah.
obviously. Like, yes, at all times, past and future, Gizzard is on that.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to get this dude. But it's just weird to think about because
Yeah.
it's like, are they twins? Do they have the same
Yeah.
mom?
Is that what
How
you're
the,
saying?
yeah, I don't
What
know. I
is
mean,
this?
what is this? I could get the infant one because like, oh yeah, maybe they had like, daycare
In
together or something.
town.
Ouija
Yeah.
Falls, small town, but this just doesn't make sense and it's
This was
just
a hitch in the writing.
disturbing. It was, ba-doom-tsh. Yeah, so it's disturbing and when you watch it, it's just weird because like they're full on
Yeah.
embryos and they're like
Yeah.
chasing each other through this womb and it's just
Weird. Feels
yeah, it's
unnecessary.
someone animated that whole scene and it was like, yes,
Yeah,
let's
someone made a choice. Multiple people made a
yeah,
choice.
multiple
In
people made
fact,
choices there and
multiple.
even editors included. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it ended up
The
on TV and
network.
remains to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Hey, time travel is a hell of a drug, man.
Hell of a
It's
drug. Guy,
a hell of a
use
drug.
responsibly.
Exactly. They need to make the warning bigger. So eventually back in the present,
Mhm.
Hitch, I have to like recalibrate myself. Like, wait, okay,
Like,
yeah.
what is the
Back in the
present? Yes.
present, yes, the present of Moville Mysteries, Hitch
Yes.
finds himself running through the school athletic fields and accidentally, obviously still running away from Gizzard, and accidentally runs directly into a goalpost, absolutely fucking up probably his nose, and
Yeah.
also the wristwatch in the process.
Oh, okay.
Gizzard at this point closes in on him, and Hitch is like frantically trying to change the time on the watch to escape. But we see this thing. It's the face is like popped off. There's like sparks coming out of it. It's just fucked up. This watch is not working. And Mo is trying to stop Hitch from trying to change the time because he's like, dude, it's broken. It's short circuiting. Like something's bad gonna
You're gonna
happen. Something
explode
bad
the
is gonna
universe.
happen. Yeah, we're gonna kill us all. Like it's gonna literally be the Big Bang. This is how the Big Bang started. Hitch.
Was Hitch.
Yeah.
Right.
In
With
the
a
year
slight concussion.
2003 in Ouija Falls. Yeah.
You prove us wrong, you can't.
Yeah, you cannot, literally. Honestly, I hope scientists are listening to this right now. This is some groundbreaking shit we're putting out there.
We're publishing tomorrow, or was it yesterday? We don't know. We're time travelers.
We don't know. You'll figure it out once we've won our Nobel Prize. And also, I would just say this, a lot of things in this episode and now what we're talking about made me think of this episode of Futurama, where there are like holes in the time. What is it? It's like the time chrononaut. I don't remember, but like you just see the time like bouncing all over the entire episode, and it's amazing. I won't go through it now, obviously, but yes,
exactly, like that montage scene that you just said too, where it's like now you're here, now you're here, now you're here,
now you're there. It's like they're in the middle of one conversation, and then it jumps forward, and they're like at the end of that conversation. Everyone's like, "Wait, what the fuck? What happened?"
On a different planet,
like the entire episode. Yeah, literally. So, yeah, at this point, Mo and Mimi try to stop Hitch from, changing the time again on the watch, seeing that the watch is totally fucked up and that it's probably not going to end well when he does this. But it's too late. Hitch, he glows up and illuminates in a blue light as he turns the time back.
Oh, no.
But this time, instead of all of time moving forward or backwards, Hitch just disappears from the gang's very eyes,
from time,
and this flash of blue light from time. He disappears
from the timeline. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And the watch, he doesn't quite. So he doesn't quite disappear from the timeline, but what he does, I guess he disappears from this time because now, rather than having a device that controls the time of everything around him, he has broken this watch and turned it into a device that can just move him through time, which in a lot of ways, I'm like, okay, good, because now you don't have to worry about all this non-consensual stuff.
Yes. Although he is going to go back or past and fuck things up. Yeah.
He's going to fuck things up. Yes. Exactly. Like he does immediately. He wakes up face down in the middle of an embankment of snow in front of what was Lone Pine High School in the year 1848.
Oh, God.
He rushes inside to get warm and notes that no one else is in there. So he's like, it must be a snow day. No one's here. But he's all shivering. He's cold. It's winter. It's snowy outside. And he looks into the schoolhouse and he sees this old, timey fireplace, like a wood fireplace in the corner of the schoolhouse. And he decides like, oh, hell yeah, let's get that fired up. Like, let's get it started. I'm fucking cold. In this tiny, unventilated, very wooden.
Probably made of wood,
classroom. Yes. We then go back to the present day in Ouija
Oh, my God.
And we see Mo and Mimi hanging up lost boys / like found item signs in front of the school because they're like, hey, have you seen this boy? And also we found this watch. We're trying to find the owner of this, and he's probably and this boy is probably with this watch whose owner we're trying to find, blah, blah, blah. So they're hanging these up around town, and particularly at this moment, they're hanging them up in front of the school. And as they're hanging up the signs, they're chatting about how the signs are their last hope. The school immediately disappears from behind them, and a historical plaque takes its place. And they go up to the plaque and they read it out loud, and it says,
oh, no.
You already know what it says.
I already know.
This plaque marks the spot where the Lone Pine Schoolhouse used to stand before it was destroyed by the mysterious fire of 1848.
All that was left was a pair of red and blue spectacles.
Bifocals.
Most curiously.
Yes. Post haste, we must determine what the use of such.
What demon was here?
Yeah. So thankfully, Hitch does not succumb to the flames. He does not die. He only destroys the old schoolhouse.
Okay.
Because we then go back in time and we see Hitch in 1848 standing outside of the schoolhouse, again in the snow, just like with his hands in his pockets, staring down the burnt remains of the building in front of him. Yep. And he just kind of shivers and says, now I see why they invented central heating.
Hitch.
And then he just shrugs it off and he's like, all right, well, let's try to get back to present day now.
Hitch.
He's just like, I don't think he realizes that the school was like in use and like maybe it was just a weekend or maybe it was just after hours.
Maybe anything.
It was a building. He doesn't. That's a good point. He doesn't understand a thing. So he tries to again change the time on his watch to get back to the present day, but the watch is still short circuiting. And it instead sends him, of course, to Ouija Falls, 10 million years BC, aka, and I had to look this up online because I was like, what era or whatever were we as the world in? Not we, obviously, but Earth.
Or were we?
Where were we? Maybe. I don't know. Find out next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.
Or will you?
Maybe you'll have to come back and listen to find out. You won't know until then. And then we just say the same thing next week. Like, oh, no, we meant next week.
Next week, as time travelers, we just get our days confused all the time, you know?
It's really hard to keep track of it all. Yeah. But so, yes, 10 million years BC was sometime during the Miocene era.
Okay.
Epoch. Yeah.
Great.
In other words, in English, in modern day English, I called this my nightmare. So
let's hear it. Whales everywhere.
Everywhere, just whales and giant mosquitoes.
It's when it was still the ocean, only a water-only planet.
Only, yes. Put a pin in that. So this place quickly becomes Hitch's nightmare too. Because immediately after like taking a look around and realizing like, holy shit, I'm like 10 million years in the past, he is very quickly chased through the jungle by just this massive flying bug that is about half the size of him.
Great.
Thankfully, again, nightmare fuel. Like, I'd be like, take me, bug. That's it. I guess this is how I go. What a noble way to go, though. Like in 10 million
just
BC.
Take yourself out. Yeah, I mean.
Exactly.
Leave the 3D glasses behind for archaeologists.
You imagine like the butterfly effect, how archaeologists come across the 3D
like
glasses.
The skeletized remains of like the bug, and then like the skeleton of Hitch inside the bug's stomach of like 10 million years ago they were wearing cargo shorts and what are these?
T-shirts? Glasses. They seem to resemble what our modern society would call 3D glasses. Were they somehow the early inspiration for?
Everything
and then 3D
we
glasses
know is
come
wrong.
Back into 3D glasses become like popular again.
God, he's influencing history left and right.
Way to go, Hitch. Yeah, he's always been about trend setting. So he is trying to outrun this giant bug. It's terrifying. You know what? Good for him. I probably wouldn't even make it this far. But he is able to outrun and outmaneuver the thing. And he then runs into some sort of Miocene era ape of some sort, which I did also have to, a nerdy rabbit hole. I was like, were they even considered apes back then? Apparently there were apparently hundreds of species of apes back then of different types. I wasn't going to dig down into the research to figure out what kind was being depicted here. But yeah, apparently. So I felt fine leaving the word ape in my script. I was like, am I just saying this confidently so you all believe me, or did I actually look this up?
I'm currently believing you entirely.
I did actually look this up. I did, I wouldn't lie about this. I would never lie about apes. That's not my thing.
No, it's because we won't look up things that are relevant to the plot, but we will look up a side tangent, and we will do in-depth research on something that was 0.7 seconds of an episode.
and has
So
no
that's how
bearing
I
of importance
knew you
whatsoever.
did
Yeah.
wiki it for sure.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Do I know what color shirt Hitch is wearing? Couldn't fucking tell you. Do I know now that there are hundreds of species of apes in the Miocene area, 10 million, 10 million
Wait, you didn't
years
even know we didn't even
BC?
know the word Miocene era until this
I
episode.
didn't.
But now
Yeah,
I do.
now I know. Yeah, it was one of
Incredible.
the eras. So the ape, he eventually, so Hitch, I should say, is trying to like play with this ape and make nice with it, like, oh, look at you. Like
Uh-huh.
at first, I think he says something like, "Man, I thought you were a gizzard for a second. You kind of resemble him," which is pretty
Uh-huh.
funny, actually. But the ape is probably smarter than gizzard. So
Yeah,
the
true.
ape eventually grabs for Hitch's wrist and is like trying to get the watch off of it, but Hitch is like,
Uh-oh.
"No, no, no, dude, you can't. Like, you're gonna break it. I don't want you to break it." But the ape is stronger than him, so he grabs the
Obviously.
wrist, literally just bites the watch, which
What
like
Mo and
causes
Mimi
it
could
to
have
short
done.
circuit. You know?
Stopped this
And
so
then
long
it
ago.
would have sent them way back
Oh,
tens of
true.
millions
True. You're
more.
right. You're right.
Yeah. Well, at that point, maybe it wouldn't have because it wasn't so fucked up at that point. But,
Yeah.
hey, whatever. In this case, it sends them tens of millions more of years into the past where they, like you mentioned
No.
before, like it's like a planet of just like all water now. Like the
Just
water's, it's all
microbes.
ocean, and like they are just these sole inhabitants of this small rock formation in the middle of
Oh
this
my
massive
God.
body of water. And the ape immediately like just devolves into like a lamprey or something and like jumps back into the water and swims away. And Hitch is like, God damn it, now I'm here by myself. Like that sucks.
I was to
Yeah.
teach the ape to speak. Damn it.
I know, damn it. I thought we were gonna like get ahead of the game. We've just lost so much time. So Hitch, meanwhile, being alone on this rock in the middle of just water for probably the next like
Mhm.
5 to 7 million more years.
Yep, he's definitely going
He
to survive
just
that. Yeah.
starts, yeah, for sure. He can. Yeah, he's got the power of time on his side, right?
Yep.
No, no, he starts wasting away, attempting to like fix the watch if he can and return to the present. But we know Hitch, he's stupid. He can't even fix a sandwich, I don't think. So
No,
this
yeah.
watch is not going anywhere.
Mm-mm.
And time goes by. And eventually we just see that he basically turns into Tom Hanks from Castaway, where he's like wearing just a loincloth. He's got this long white beard, long white hair. His nails are all long, and he's
Oh,
just so skinny
gross.
and emaciated and like
Uh-huh.
hunched over. I'm pretty sure he still has the 3D glasses on.
Obviously.
So like, hey, you were right. Archaeologists would find these
It's
things.
going to be
They stand the
incredible.
test of time. And yes, if he is Tom Hanks in Castaway, then the watch is his
Oh
Wilson. Because
no.
as he's trying to fix this watch, it gets to the point where it just literally like explodes essentially. All the pieces just fly everywhere
Uh-huh.
and he goes into just like I guess he's maybe he's come to terms with it because it's probably actually less of an episode than I would have if I were in this situation, but
Yeah.
he definitely freaks out to some degree and
Mm.
realizes like shit, this is it.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
the one,
done.
like I can't fix this
This
now,
was
like
his
it's
only
lit
hope
but
that he had.
exactly, and
Yep.
it's shattered literally in hundreds of pieces at his feet.
Yep.
So Hitch, he gives up and he just sits there, kind of like puts his head in his lap or whatever, and just like kind of
Yeah.
cries a little bit, like this fucking sucks, which yes,
It
that would
does.
fucking suck a
Correct.
lot.
Also, you
Thank
did this to
God
yourself, Hitch.
you did. Like your friends tried to warn you,
Yeah.
and you said that they were being buzzkills.
Yeah, I feel
So,
unsympathetic for him.
yeah, I guess like I would hate it if I were in this position, but yeah, this would never happen to me because I
Yeah,
listen to my friends and because I would be
exactly.
responsible with using a time machine, with
Yeah,
using the time machine that you and I created, as we have been
as we
responsible using it
already have
already.
been. Yes.
Exactly. So, Hitch, you could have learned something from me and Grace if you had time traveled to the year 2024
And only
or
listen to
whatever
your
year it was
friends.
when we created this. Yeah.
Yeah, again, they all run together.
It's hard. It's rough out here. How old are we even anymore? Who
Who
knows? Ugh.
knows?
But eventually, reality settles in, and Hitch realizes that the watch can't be fixed. So, like I said, he's sitting there sad.
Mhm.
And in the middle of his crying, a strange thing, even stranger, happens. A ball of fire falls from the sky. And at first, I'm like, oh shit, isn't this early? I thought this
Yeah,
happened
what's the
later.
comment?
And when did that
And
happen?
there's
But
lots
no.
of them.
This is true. Good point. But thankfully, the ball of fire stops right in front of Hitch. And at first, he's terrified when he sees it. But then the ball of fire calls out his name, saying, Tommy
Oh,
Hitchcock? So more asking out his name,
yeah,
which, to be fair, frightens Hitch even more at that
correct.
point. So he lets out like a shaky little, like, yes. Also, shaky from fear, but also because he's very old and like frail now.
Spoken to
So
anyone in 80 years.
only to Wilson the watch in this case. And after Hitch confirms that yes, he is Tommy Hitchcock, the ball of fire disappears. And I think probably the coolest character we've seen on this show so far appears in front of Hitch in the ball of fire's place. This
Okay.
dude, let me describe this guy. He
Okay.
is the moment. We thought that Hitch was the moment or a trendsetter. Hell no. This
Okay.
dude, like I said, as far as I'm concerned, my favorite character in the
Okay,
show
wait. Is
so
this
far.
an adult or another teen?
This is an adult. Mhm.
Okay, okay.
So this dude, he's got pale green skin. He's an old guy. He's got
Okay.
a long gray beard that's like pulled into a ponytail. It's got a couple of
Ooh.
like rubber bands around it, so it's pulled
Yep.
down. He's got a nice long gray or I guess white ponytail, his actual hair pulled back into a ponytail, but
Yep.
also he's bald on top.
Classic.
And he's got, the nice thick sideburns going down
Oh,
into
yeah.
his beard and a nice thick mustache. The
This dude
facial
is
hair is
from the
on point.
70s.
He is from the 70s, but wait, there's more. He's
Yes.
wearing like a Flava Flav style clock necklace. It's not like gold and ornate
This is
and
the
diamonds,
fucking
but it's just
Time
a
Lord,
giant
baby.
he is the Time Lord. And he's wearing like an old school British golfing outfit with like he's got the high knee tight socks,
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
baggy plaid trousers, and like a
Yes.
green polo with red trim on the collars and around like the
Wow.
arms. He's got on golfing shoes. And of course, he has sunglasses and he's carrying around his 9-iron ready to hit the tee.
It's
So
the
this is literally,
sunglasses. That's what's
this is,
topped it
yeah, go
off for
ahead.
me. Hell yeah.
Topped it off. I think actually, so I think he's wearing them like on his forehead,
Still
though, not
counts.
actually, but exactly, still counts. And so this guy's whole aura is essentially when you have to restore the space-time continuum at 9, but you have to make tea time at 10. So he is amazing.
And he's like, and I know I'm gonna make it. Have you seen this watch?
Exactly. So the dude, he pulls out one of these lost boy found item flyers that Mimi and Mo were hanging up around Ouija Falls. And he shows it to Hitch and says, I've been looking for you throughout eons,
Wow, this
And
guy's
Hitch is
fucking
like,
cool.
he's amazing. I'm trying, he kind of has like an old, like shaky voice, like, I've been looking for you through eons,
That's because
So
this
it's like
guy's is ancient. That's why.
he is.
He invented
Yes.
golf.
He invented sunglasses.
Wearing them while playing golf. That's why he made them.
Yes. So Hitch asks the man, who are you? And the guy just says, I've come to claim my watch. And Hitch is like, ooh, well, bad news, actually, the watch, about that. And so he's trying to break the news that he broke the watch, but he kind of can't get it out because he's afraid to fess up to the fact that he broke this thing that wasn't his.
And this is his only way out, probably. Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly. Yes. And so the man is like, hey, come on, get it out, hurry it up. He's like practicing his swing as
They
Hitch
will
is
not
trying.
hold.
No.
They're not going to hold for me.
And he says it too. He's like, I got to make it 10 o'clock tea time, dude. Like, come on, let's go. As he's like practicing his swing.
Yeah, the swing.
And so the man then looks down before Hitch can finish his sentence, and he sees all of the pieces of the watch just around Hitch's feet. And for a split second, he looks startled and disappointed. But then he kind of looks at Hitch And he quickly just changes to like being very understanding, and he calms down.
Mm.
And he's like, well, to be fair, I suppose we both could have taken better care of it. And he explains how he lost it in the first
Mm.
place. He says, you see, and we love this guy so much even more.
Oh.
He's like, you see, I was trying on these new golf pants and I just took the damn thing off in the changing room and I just forgot. Like it just
Okay, he's a
like
relatable Time Lord.
classic. It is so relatable. Which literally I said like same.
Same.
But also womp womp. Like that's kind of a big thing, like to
Yeah,
just
get
leave
something
around.
that's
But
a little
like
more secure.
yeah, exactly. Like an earring or something. I don't know. Time
Yeah.
traveling earring. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
leave my
Something that you're
earrings
not
in
going to take
at all
off,
times.
literally. So Hitch asks him if the watch can be fixed, but the man's like, oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, it's done. Like that. You see what you
You're
did
not
to this
fixing
shit?
that.
It's done. I can't fix that. He's like, I'm a timekeeper, not a
Yeah,
watchmaker.
exactly.
It's
I'm a
like, no.
Time Lord. That's it.
Right. It's like this is just the vehicle I was given to do it.
Yeah,
I
I'm not a
don't
mechanic.
fucking yeah, what do you want me to do? So at this point, Hitch is like again visibly sad, like damn, like he thought he maybe had a chance, and then it was quickly dashed again. And he
Mm.
realizes that there is now truly no way back home. But the man, he grabs Hitch around the shoulders and tells him not to worry. And he says, what's past is past, or what's future is past, or the past present is future. And then just like us, Grace, again, relatable content. He's like, all this time travel, even I get confused, right? Like we know it's crazy out
We
here in the year
know.
2038.
Right,
So
exactly. God, it's so hard to keep track, you know?
yeah, what even are we? Where are we? Who knows?
Who are we?
So why are we?
Who am
So
I?
he tell could you imagine just like, but I mean, really, this would fuck with your mind. So I like, again, could you
Yeah,
imagine being in this timekeeper's shoes? Really, though, like he probably
right.
did invent golf, by the way. So when he says he has a 10
Exactly.
o'clock tea time, it's to the first golf
The
game.
first,
Like,
that's why
yeah,
it's a big
who
deal.
are we?
He's
Where
been
are
hyping it up
we?
to the village. He's been like,
Yes.
y'all, 10 o'clock, look on the sundial. Be there,
It's
be
going to be the
square,
greatest shit
baby.
you've ever seen. I
Yeah,
swear, it's
I'm
going to
about
be
to
timeless. People are going to be playing this
blow your
game for
mind.
hundreds of years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is gonna be a revolution. Guy, be there,
Yes.
10 sharp.
Somehow comes across this flyer of Hitch, like, ah, shit, that's where that watch is. Hold, I
10
promise you, stay here. I'll be back. I'll be right
o'clock.
back. 10 o'clock. I promise. So he tells Hitch that there is hope yet. They'll just have to use the man's new watch to get back. And he whips it out, and it's something more like mine, like an actual
Oh yeah,
digital
a little
watch, but something
modern
new for the yeah,
situation.
something modern, like a Casio from year 2003 or something
Oh,
like
nice.
that. And so the man, he's like, I just gotta hold on. Let me just figure out if I can use it. It's all these new doohickeys are hard to use, and I get all confused and stuff. So he
Yeah.
eventually, after pressing all sorts of buttons, is able to set his new watch to the year or to the time 2002. So I guess
Yeah.
2002, not 2003, that this episode came out. And the two of them, him and Hitch, then travel through the various phases of Ouija Falls that we saw through the
Oh,
episode
cool.
until they reach their final destination, present day. Hitch at this point is very happy, obviously, to see them back at the site of the gang's handball game, I guess in that alley behind the
Yeah.
school or
Where he
whatever. While the
belongs.
man, he's exactly where he belongs, back to his natural habitat.
Yeah.
But the
Alleys.
man is excited to see, yeah, the man is excited to see that he will indeed make his 10 o'clock tee off. And
Great.
so this dude, he instantly just zaps out of there. And
Oh,
Hitch at
yeah.
first just lets out a big sigh of relief that he's home and that he's safe and back in the present day. But then he looks down and remembers that he is still Tom Hanks in Castaway
Oh
and freaks.
no. He didn't like
Yeah.
return to his actual
No,
form.
no, he just
Oh,
brought
right,
him
because
back to the
this version of
present.
it, you're moving as yourself. That's right.
Exactly,
That's right.
exactly. So but just as Hitch starts to freak out, like, oh
I'm
God, oh
about to
God.
die.
The man, yeah, right. I'm literally on death's door. I'm like 5,000 years old.
Yeah.
But the man, thankfully, he returns in a puff of smoke and just like kind of laughs, like, whoops, and changes Hitch back to his young, healthy, regular
Uh,
self and beams off again to go make his 10 o'clock tea time. And
damn.
just after this, Mo and Mimi, they walk up to Hitch, ready to play handball, but they are shocked and freaked out to see him. They're like, "Oh my God, Hitch, what the hell? What's going on?" And Hitch is like, "Well, I can explain. It's like, I'm sorry, guys. And they stop him. They're like, "You're here early. Like, you're actually here
Oh.
before us?" And Hitch then just kind of laughs, like, huh, yeah, I'm early, and pulls a handball out of his pocket and is like, "All right, guys, well, time for me to
The
claim my title as
rules.
a Lone Pine High handball champion." And then, yes, he starts laying out all the rules and
Ah.
everything. And at this point, Mimi gives Hitch a cute little smirk and reminds him that she's won the last 14 games in a row and tells him not to get too cocky.
Hmm.
But before the game starts, Hitch remembers. He looks at Mo and says, "Oh, yeah, hey, let me give you your watch back, dude. I have a funny feeling that you should
Uh,
take it before something happens." And then the gang starts their game of handball, and that is the end.
wow. That was
Yeah.
incredible. I need a spin-off cartoon of this Time Lord.
Right? Honestly, he's the best. Like, I swear, he's my favorite character in Moville Mysteries at this point.
Wow.
Like,
Great job. Um,
yeah, thank you. I love this episode. I was hesitant to do it after I first watched it. I was like, this is going to be way too fucking
how am I going to
confusing
keep
to,
track? You did a great
yeah. And
job.
so, thank you. I was like, I'll just go slow. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
We'll just say it, and then
Yeah.
that's it. That's how you
And
get through
that'll
all this
happen.
confusing stuff. Yeah. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Wow. I love a time travel situation episode
Me too. Me
moment.
too. Yeah. And it would have been fun to get into all the different theories, like the Back to the Future theory, the Infinity War theory,
Yeah.
all the
I
different
mean, the
ones,
fact that they even
but
use the word Time Lord a la Doctor
it was
Who.
pretty cool. Yes.
Yeah, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera. Which
We'll
actually,
give
that's
them that.
probably around the same time that the like reboot of Doctor Who started, was like early
Oh, yeah.
2000s from like the
Yeah.
original black and white show. Then they rebooted it at
And
the
we
start of the
probably had some
2000s. So
Whovians in the writer's room, probably.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
absolutely. Given the themes of Moville Mysteries,
Yeah, exactly.
these people were always watching like the Twilight Zone, the X-Files, and Doctor Who,
Doctor
probably,
Who, yeah, all of the
and horror
aboves.
movies. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
this
Wow, great
is why we
job.
love this show. Thank you.
What a fun episode to end on.
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
say, I don't know how many episodes there are each season, but when you said this was season 2, episode 10, I was like, if this is the last episode, that'd be interesting. And then you were like, and
Mm.
then there was a fire at the school and there was a plaque. And I was like, did Hitch die? And this is how the show ends?
Yeah,
Here
yeah.
lies Thomas Hitchcock.
Hitchcock
And I was
died
like,
by a fire. Yeah, or actually, they would
oh.
just think he went missing. They wouldn't
Yeah,
know.
exactly. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past the writers to end with like one of
No,
the main three just mysteriously dying
dying.
or
Yeah.
violently dying. And that's like the end of the entire. They knew they were done after that second season. They were like, fuck it.
Okay, we're done. Might
We're
as well
leaving
start
him on
killing
this
people off.
island to
Yeah.
perish.
Of all the shows that we've covered so far in this podcast, this is the one I would put it past the least to do such a thing, to take such a risk
Exactly.
in telling stories
Such
to
a
children.
risk. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
So,
100%.
yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
great
and I think that's a
job.
good way to sum up how we feel about this show
Yeah,
as we wrap up this arc. It's the writers were pushing some limits. They were
the
pushing
writers were
some limits, I
edgy.
think, but some of the stuff they were, and I love it. I
Same.
mean, yeah, it makes me want to watch more Canadian shows and see if they were all slightly edgier than
Right. Yeah, is it
US
just
based shows
like,
at the time. I guess Totally Spies was Canadian, and that was around the same time, right? So
or was it, no, it
it
was
was French
French.
Canadian
Yeah.
or just French.
I think it
Okay,
was just
never
French and then
mind.
a Canadian company bought it. But either way,
That's what, either way, yeah. But they were willing to take risks with Moville Mysteries that
exactly.
to my knowledge, no show, at least in the 2000s, in America was willing to take. Like maybe Our Real Monsters had some stuff to that degree, but that was
Yeah.
earlier in the
And I kind
90s.
of remember like All Real Monsters and like that same era of like what was it, like Ren and Stimpy being like, are these kids
Yeah,
shows like
also true, especially with
kind
Ren
of
and
thing?
Stimpy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
being
and like
like, I
Cow and
don't know if I
Chicken.
like this. Yeah, Cow and Chicken being like, I don't know if I like
Yeah,
this. What's happening? But
yeah.
like
Actually, Ren and Stimpy may have sometimes played on MTV too, I think. So like
yeah, it was a
it was
weird,
clear that it was like on the
it was
fence.
towing
Like,
the
is it a teen show?
line.
Yes, very much. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I
So just
definitely
like
wish
Mobile Mysteries.
I wish like Moville Mysteries makes me want to have a like when we always say it, like an adult swim cartoon show that is similar to this of like ooky spooky, um,
Yeah.
like cryptid stuff, horror, all that kind of stuff of like
Yeah.
take Moville Mysteries and push it like one reading further and I would love it.
Exactly. Yeah. Like instead of just implying, well, clearly implying that someone is a serial killing, like let's actually see some of the killing.
Yeah,
Let's see
exactly.
some of the stalking and the haunting and like the
Yeah, like
actual
that full
violence. Throw a few cuss words in there too. Fuck it,
that
why
full
not?
scene with Gizzard having it play out how it was gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
The
let's
rest
see what
of the
happens when we
story.
take it there. Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
So wow.
So
Great job. I'm
cool.
gonna miss this show so much. I love this
Me
show.
too. I will. I will.
It's a
And I
favorite.
think that some of the viewers have enjoyed it too. Especially, I gotta dang, I should have written down their name. The viewer who recommended it to us. I can pull it up real quick.
Uh
But they've been awesome. They've been, reaching out on different episodes and commenting and engaging. So we love it. If anyone
yes.
else
Wait,
has any comments they want to throw
we
down,
also
yeah.
gotta give a shout out. Hold on, I'm also pulling it up right now. To on Instagram where we got some of
Yeah.
our first Mobile Mysteries fan art, in fact.
Yeah.
Sophie Burgers on Instagram did a
Okay.
little bit of when we said it was the uh which episode was it, the wannabe on top no, it was
No,
the
this one was
teenage
Father's
girl.
Day. Stepfather's Day.
Yeah, Stepfather's Day episode.
Hmm.
When we said those teenagers were the muses from or the fates from Hercules. Yeah, Sophie Burgers on Instagram made
Yeah.
them so, and it was incredible. So, Movie
Yeah.
Mysteries is just everyone needs to know about this show.
It's bringing back some nostalgia. So, yeah, I mean, if you enjoyed this arc, so did we, first of all. So, hopefully, we get back to it one day in the future. There's a lot more episodes to do.
Yeah,
And tell all your friends that we did it. And,
yeah.
hit the
Like,
subscribe
comment,
button, like,
leave a
comment, exactly.
review.
Follow us on, Instagram. We're on every platform for podcasting, I believe
Yeah,
that exists to this known world. So you can listen
yes.
wherever. And
Whatever
yeah,
world we're
send us
currently
other.
in, it's hard to
Yeah,
keep track,
exactly.
when
Again,
you're
year
us.
2038, it's hard at this time
God, there's
to,
so many more
yeah,
platforms
gosh.
now.
I mean, we've got like the 56th presidential election to worry about
God,
tomorrow. It's just
exactly.
insane out here in these
I know. I hope
2038.
you win.
Me, no, it's been a long campaign. That's why I'm so tired right now. I just got back from Iowa.
That's why I forgot what year it was.
Yeah.
The campaign's so demanding on top of everything else.
Yeah, my deputy campaign manager is calling me. So just before I answer the phone for them, I'll ask Grace, who should they tell about this podcast? Watch this actually be a Simpsons moment and like come back to us in 14 years and we'll see what I'm doing. It
Live in
almost certainly won't
DC.
be that,
Who
but who
knows?
knows? Fucking knows.
We're a couple
Weirder
years away
things have
from
happened.
35. You're almost eligible.
Yeah, I know. No, I gotta wait like 60 more years and then I can officially run, then I'll be eligible
Then you'll be
to
ready.
run for any
Then you'll be
office. Yeah,
qualified.
exactly. So
Wow,
in those
iconic.
60 years while we wait, who should they tell about this podcast?
I think you should tell I think you should tell a friend who is like their entire life is on their smartwatch. Like, a friend who gets like
Mm,
their text messages on their watch. They listen to Spotify on
yeah.
their watch. They get their emails on their watch. They're always checking it, scrolling it, that kind of stuff. Tell that friend to,
Mhm.
be careful with that watch usage. You never know
Yeah.
where or when it could take you, if you will.
Ooh, that's such a nice quote, by the way. Yeah. Just, you never know where or when it could take you. You came up with that when we were back in the Renaissance eras.
Exactly.
Speaking with Mozart, etc., etc.
Yes.
At
so
a
when
nice
I was
salon.
at
I remember when you first
French
used that
salons,
phrase.
in French also, nonetheless, obviously.
Exactly. Yes. That was a good time. We got to
I
go back
impressed
there.
all
That
of
was fun.
them.
Those salons are crazy.
You know what? Let's wrap it up here soon so we can get back. But before we do, who else should they tell?
So then after that, you should tell everybody's got that one friend who is late for everything.
I had to hold back
Grace.
Alexis.
Grace doesn't have that friend, though. No one I know has that friend.
I had to hold back so many comments. Okay, wait, can I tell you really quick? The biggest one I was going to make was when at the very end you said Hitch was early. I was about to say, I knew Alexis had invented time travel when she was on time for pictures before my wedding.
Yes, on time.
That's when it started.
Just like Moville Mysteries pushes the envelope, I was pushing the envelope with that. I think I had 5 minutes to spare, maybe. I was like, you wanted us there. I forget the exact time, but say you wanted us there by 1. I think I walked in at 12:55.
Again, that's how in that moment I was like, we got to talk after this.
Exactly.
Let me in on
that moment that we went back to you and Justin actually had your honeymoon in the Renaissance. I was partying in the salons with Mozart. And then when you finished, you sent Justin back. We did some business. We talked through some things, had some creative powwows with all of the thought leaders of the day. And then we came back. So it's been crazy these last 150 years
and beyond. But okay, sorry, I totally interrupted you.
No, that was it. I was going to say, tell your friend who's always late. If you're Grace, that me or anyone who knows me will then be telling me or my brothers because we are perennially late to everything. I mean, we will be late to our own funerals, most likely. So
especially when we time travel there to make sure you're all sad about it.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? I'm late oftentimes too, so whatever.
Anyway, you only live once. You got to
exactly.
It's all time is just one big bourgeois trip, man. You just gotta enjoy life.
Stepdad, is that you?
And on that note, we'll be back next week. We actually know what show we're doing next, and we're super excited for it too, by the way. So come back and find out. Yeah.
Yes. Until then. See y'all next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.